All right, today we're going to look at sprites in code.org. So the first activity is you're going to do a prediction of what some of the code looks like. I'm on activity 2 here of lesson 8, and this one, pretty simple, straightforward. If you kind of scroll this down a little bit, it says create a new sprite variable called sprite1. So if you go to sprites here, we're going to drag this out, and we see that we have a variable here, and they want us to call it sprite1. Okay? So we're just going to call it sprite1. And then we don't have to really do anything with the location for right now. Okay, so this is just going to show up in the middle, and then it says draw your sprites on the screen, and to do that you're going to have to drag out a draw sprite block, and that's under the world. And so you drag this here. Okay, these gray blocks are actually called comments, and we use those to kind of leave directions for people in our code. And in this case, code.org has left us directions for this. So, create a new sprite variable called sprite1, which is what we're doing here, and then draw your sprite on the screen. So we put the draw sprite. And if we run this, there's our sprite. Now it's just a gray block, but that's okay. We're just starting. All right. So when you're done with that, this activity, you can go ahead and hit finish, and we'll continue. Oops, yeah. And we'll go on to the next activity, which is activity 3. And so again, we're looking at now 2 different blocks. We have a left sprite and a right sprite, and they just want us to fix this. Okay, well, if you notice, if we draw this, we're going to get the left sprite, but we don't have the right. What we need to do is make sure that this draw sprite is in the proper location. What happens is you tell it to create a sprite at a certain location. It doesn't do anything with that until it sees a draw sprite. And so because this is in the middle, it's going to draw the left sprite, but it will not draw the right sprite because it's not below this. Because the way coding works is it does things in sequencing. And so this does it first, then it will do this, and then it will do this. But this third one doesn't have an option to draw it. So we're just going to drag this down here. And that will then draw both of our sprites, the left sprite and the right sprite, hopefully. If we hit run, there we go. So we have a left one and a right one. Okay, really make sure you watch that with the draw sprites, that you put this in a location that's after the sprites and what you want to draw on the screen. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish on that one. We're going to go ahead and hit continue, and now we'll get to the next activity. So it says this level, investigating sprites. Let's drag this down here a second. Let's update the code below so that different animations appear for the fruit and the vegetable sprites. So it says do this. Update the fruit animation. Use the drop-down menu in the set animation blocks to select a different sprite to use. Okay, so we have fruit, this location, and right now it says the fruit animation is set to apple. All right, we don't want it to be apple. If we look at it like this, it's actually set, it is set to apple right now. They want it to be set to strawberry. So let's go ahead and do that. Do strawberry, and then vegetable, we want it to be broccoli. Right now it's set to carrot, so we just go ahead and set it to broccoli. That's kind of how you change these here. Later on, you're going to get an option in the upper left hand corner here to change your sprites and modify them. We are not going to do that on this activity. And then it says to try change the positions of the sprite so they're stacked vertically instead of horizontally. I'm going to let you tinker with that. This is how you change the sprites. Okay, so go ahead and hit finish on that, continue, and now we're on to the next step. All right, so look, we have some options up here, code and animation. So now it says let's use our new sprite blocks to create a student sprite. And it says do this, create a sprite variable called student. So we're going to drag this out, and we're going to name it student. Okay, and we're going to keep that at 200, 200. And then we're going to set the animation, drag out an animation block, and change the first part of the block to be named the same as the variable above. So this is a really key thing here, is if we leave this as sprite, it won't know what to do with this, but we're going to name it student. So it knows that there's this variable called student. It's going to appear at this location. And so these have to be the same. And we're going to set that animation. What does it say here? Change the first part of the block to the same name. Use the drop-down menu to select a different sprite to use as a student. So right now we have animation 1. Let's do Jim. And let's see what Jim looks like. Oops, I forgot my third part here. I got to draw a sprite. So I got to draw the draw sprites out here. And actually I should probably keep this consistent and move this down here, even though it would not matter. The comments really don't factor into the code, but we'll keep it nice and organized. So now when I hit the draw sprite, there's Jim. Okay? Right where we need him to be. All right, so once we're done with that one, we're going to go ahead and hit finish. And we're going to say continue. All right, so it says this program draws 4 sprites on the screen. One of them has an animation from the animation tab. Yep, we can see that right here, bottom right. Run the code to see what happens. Okay, so we don't have anything here. All right, look in the animation tab to see what animations are available. Feel free to alter your animations or choose a new one. So we're going to need set animations here for all of these. We'll drag all 4 of them out. Okay, so this one right here, let's call this one top left sprite. Notice the capitalizations, you want those to be identical. If they are not, they won't work. Okay, so this one starts off with lowercase t, and then we do capital R for right, capital S for sprite. And then this one as well. Bottom left sprite. Okay, so now we're going to just go ahead and change these. We'll do a bunny, a flybot, and an alien. Oh, we already did an alien once, so let's do a plain red. Now if we run these, oops, did not like my plain red one. So let's do another flybot. Oh, my top left, look at that, I have an error. Make sure we spell that correctly. There we go. And now let's actually try getting rid of one of these and changing it to this plain red. There we go. So those are those 4 sprites. Okay, let's do our last one here. Go ahead and hit finish. Continue. So now for this activity, if you notice, we want to get the get ready in front of those 2 and run the code to see what happens. Notice this is in the wrong spot and we need a soda can. So if we look, we got the message, and this message actually needs to be in front of this. Okay? So, and it does this in order. So let's go ahead and move get message to the bottom, because we're going to want this to be over the top of these. If I run it right now, well, we'll keep working on this a little bit. So we got ice cream. Let's actually change the drink to soda. And then let's do this to ice cream. Okay. Did I move my... Let's see here. We got our message. I was going to draw another draw sprite here for... Let's see here. So my drink is in the right spot now. Okay. But my ice cream is not. So then let's go take a look at the animation here and see what happened to my ice cream. Interesting. All right, so I got to tinker with this a little more, right? We'll get rid of this. All right, okay, so let me move my message down here. Move my... Oh, I got the wrong name here. Got to do dessert. Oh, got to switch those. There we go. Now I think we have the right thing going. There we go. So now We have our drink. It's a soda, dessert. There we go. Good luck with your coding. I hope this helps you.